I like reviewing good movies because I like being able to tell people which movies are worth seeing. But I love reviewing bad movies because there's just so much material for me to use that I just can get so into it and just get really happy about trashing something that sucks. But you know what I love more than that? Reviewing a fantastic comic book movie. The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man is a movie that I really don't need to explain much of the story from. It's Peter Parker, he gets bitten by the spider, he becomes Spider-Man, you guys know all this stuff. The only difference here between the other ones is in this movie, they changed the origin a bit, and I'm not going to explain what exactly they did, but they changed some of it, and there's the Lizard in this movie, he's played by Rhys Ifans. He has a plan to, you know, cure New York, you know, cure meaning his own sick, twisted way to cure people. Since I uploaded Why the Amazing Spider-Man is Not Headed for Disaster, that video, I've been fairly optimistic about this movie. I've had some problems with it, and my main problem going in was I was worried that it would be far too similar to the original movies, that it would just seem like a rehash. I am so happy to say that it's not. It is quite different when I actually start to think about it. Let me just start out with the acting. The acting in this movie is perfect all around the board. Andrew Garfield is an amazing Spider-Man, no pun intended. He is great in this movie. He nails the dramatic part so well. And when he's Spider-Man, the wisecracks, it's perfect. It was great. It was fun. Those are morally statements about the movie in general, but his portrayal of Spider-Man was amazing and I loved it. I liked it more than Tobey Maguire's. You got Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, and she is Peter's love interest, and she's really good in the movie. She feels like a real person, and I like her more than MJ too. She was more of a, I don't know, I liked her character more for some reason. I don't really know why right now, but I just did. Maybe it's just because it's Emma Stone. Then you have Rhys Ifans as Dr. Connors and the Lizard. He does really well in the role because this character is supposed to be portrayed as sympathetic because he's a doctor who's just trying to get his arm back. It blew off in a lab explosion. He's trying to splice reptilian DNA into ours so he can grow his arm back, and it kind of works, but it turns him into a giant lizard. And that's the thing, I really did like his character. I felt for his character, and that was good because then when he was the lizard, I didn't want him to die or have something bad happen to him. To me, he was almost like Dr. Octopus in a way, because in Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus was a sympathetic villain because he just got overtaken by power, but you didn't really want him to die because he was a good guy. He just got overtaken by the power. That's how I felt for Dr. Connors in this movie, and I felt Rhys Ifans did a perfect job with it. He was really good in this movie. There's so many different people in the cast, I can't keep going on because this video will end up around 10-20 minutes. Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben, he's great. He's a better portrayal of the character than in the original. He was more of a hard-ass than the original, and the relationship between him and Peter felt more real than it did in the first one. Sally Field as Aunt May, she's great. Dennis Leary's Captain Stacy, he's really good. He has some comedic moments. I really liked his character too. I liked everyone in this movie. And another thing people could be concerned about is Mark Webb. He's directing this movie, and the only real thing he's done is 500 Days of Summer, and that was a low-budget movie. This is a huge, big-budget movie, and sometimes you can just see things like that and they just don't go the right way, because he could have directed this really in a small way, so it wasn't epic feeling, but he didn't, and that's what I really liked about this. He really knew what he was doing, he was confident in what he was doing, so it just feels really crisp and well done. The action in the movie, I will say, I like the action in Spider-Man a little bit more than this one, because in the action in Spider-Man, it was more grand, it was on a much larger scale than in this movie, so that's just the way I felt, but that might be because the Lizard in this movie, he's not a giant villain. Well, in stature he is, but I'm saying he's not a huge villain that can just go flying around the city with Spider-Man, so I get why that the fight they had was a bit smaller feeling. And the CGI for the Lizard in the trailer was a bit weird looking, but in the movie there are close-up shots on him. He looks really good. I'm glad they took their time with it because it looks really good. Rhys Ifans did motion capture for it. It looked really good. You could see his facial expressions, all the scales on him. It just looked really cool. It looked like he was actually a man that was a lizard. And here's something that I really felt improved on the original. The dramatic scenes in this movie, or the serious ones, were very well directed. Mark Webb, he did 500 Days of Summer, as I said, so you knew that he was going to do that well. And all the scenes were really heartfelt. They were real to me. You really do feel for these characters. I love Spider-Man, that's completely true, but there are just certain things that just came off as a bit cheesy instead of sad, which is what they should have. Like Uncle Ben's death. It was bit cheesy. In this one, it was really well done. I really felt for Peter when that was happening. So I'll give a lot of credit to Mark Webb for that. He was great as the director of this movie. The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm completely and utterly shocked at how much I love this movie. I really didn't expect this to be that great. 2012 has been a year of surprises for me as of right now. I'm giving it a jumbo popcorn. Honestly, this is the second best movie of the year for me behind The Avengers. I completely adored this movie. So what'd you guys think of The Amazing Spider-Man? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? How are you feeling about the Lizard as a villain? Who do you want to see in the sequel? Me personally, I want to see either Green Goblin, Mysterio, or Electro. I want to see one of those done well. Not saying Green Goblin wasn't done well in Spider-Man, I'm just saying it'd be nice to see another incarnation of him. Write your beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button up there, because if you don't,